It is Saturday, week 9, college football season. We're back live for once. It's only right that I finally do my part here and do my job over as the guy who promises you 7 days a week of content and can't get his head out of his ass for one. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we've got a cool Saturday preview show in store for you guys. Thank you all so much for all the support. 200 subscribers we hit during this last week, Cam. Um,
Yeah, that's exciting. I saw that you texted me and BJ about that.
yeah, I
I
was.
know I can't speak for BJ, but I know I'm excited for you.
Yeah, it's really nice of BJ, to show up and be a part of it. You know, on a day like this when he's been around for every Saturday and been a part of it. But hey, that's his prerogative. He's got better things to do. He
His call.
says. I don't know what he's doing, but nonetheless, we're here. We're looking forward to a good Saturday of college football. We've got some fun games. We got hey already. Hey, we're doing this already. No, we're doing.
Already having to lay the hammer again.
Jesus, you stand fellow. Um, but man, we've got a big day of college football. We had a big day last night, a big night last night, and
Yeah.
in ways that we really didn't expect. Right, like, look, I'm gonna give Charlotte credit that they're due. They hung with North Texas for as long as they possibly could, and then the wheels kind of came off of it at the end.
Yeah.
But there were glimpses of this team truly improving last night. They were up 20-17 late in the third, or probably midway, I guess, about 5 minutes to go, which North Texas then took the lead and never looked back. It was 20-17 at one point in that game last night, believe it or not. Charlotte was leading. Um, it was interesting, but in saying that, um, what was it?
Overall,
Drew Mastermaker. Is that the right name? Am I saying that correctly?
that sounds right.
Um, 608 passing yards last night. Sets a new American Athletic Conference record. Sets a new North Texas school record. Um, for passing yards in a game. That's a cool little stat there. Um, all I needed was the under to hit in this game on 70 and a half, and I was good. I bet an alternate spread or an alternate line, and still got shit on. So, um, but no, it was a great game. From North Texas, really showed their fight through and ability to really push forward. Their only loss is USF. They're not completely out of this conference championship race. As
Yeah.
a matter of fact, they play Navy next week. That's a big game. Um, I don't know. It might get a little run next week because next week's a slow week around
Yeah.
the top
It
matchups next
slows
week.
down a little bit.
Um, Boise State dominated Nevada 24-3. Not even surprised there. Um, I'll
Mhm.
tell you what a night for Virginia Tech and Hokies fans. That was a
That game was
that
insane.
was a gutsy win. And Kyron Drones, we finally saw the athleticism, the ability that he truly has to lead this offense. One of the best athletes on the field at any given time, and it really felt like they didn't give him what he needed. Over the last few years. Man, we saw
Yeah.
it. This team outgained Cal on the ground. If I'm not mistaken, I'm just gonna go ahead and look the stat up or look at the stats real quick. They
I
outgained
was
on
just
the
pulling up the
ground
stat.
uh 357-39.
Hmm.
Virginia Tech has not done that in a very long time, man. That's
Yeah,
impressive. That's old school Tech football.
that's very old school Tech football. Like that, like you'd said, we've not seen Tech do that in at least two coaching stints. So, and and it wasn't just like it was the running game, the running backs, like what we saw Pry try to do, establish the line of scrimmage in that way. It was it was absolutely just everyone. Like I know that drones went off. Like Cal had no answer to him. they either over pursued or under pursued him, and so like it was absolutely impressive to see a Virginia Tech running game be able to do that for the first time in almost 10 years at this point. Okay, yeah, for sure. Um, so honestly, this week has been a fun week of football as a whole. Um, Started on Tuesday night, of course. Kennesaw State beats Florida International on Miami Vice night. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but Kennesaw State looks much improved in year two at the FBS level. Um, Western Kentucky and Louisiana Tech played an instant classic, um, 28-27 in overtime. Um, Western went for two to end the game in the first overtime and did. So Louisiana Tech gets a loss on the year. Delaware beats Mid Tennessee State. Mid Tennessee State looks god awful this year, but Delaware has surprised a lot of people, myself included. I did not think Delaware was going to look necessarily as good. I know Conference USA isn't necessarily the greatest conference as a whole, but they I still did not have them at 4-3 at this point in the year. 2-2 in conference. Missouri State beats New Mexico State. Um, Two teams that are kind of hard to get a read on. They're just both Missouri State and NMSU have been very inconsistent this year. Some weeks they look like, oh, they could challenge for Conference USA, but then there's other weeks where it's like, yeah, no, that ain't gonna happen. So Missouri State gets the best of NMSU though in overtime. And then in the battle of the crap in the Sun Belt, South Alabama gets the win over Georgia State 38-31. Wasn't able to watch a ton of that game, but still, sounds like it was a fun game, and overall, definitely been a great start to the week so far. In what should be another fun week in college football this week. Then last night as well at the FCS level, I know that there was a Big Sky game, and Montana just absolutely handled Sac State. Um, Not too surprising. Montana, of course, has been historically a wagon at the FCS level, but and Sac State hasn't been necessarily the greatest over the past few years, but still, Montana is just too much for the Hornets and go on to get the victory. Welcome back, Tyler.
Thanks. Sacramento State's a team, been making a push to try to be an FBS team. They were making a push for a Pac-12 bid or a Mountain West bid,
Mm-hmm.
whoever would have taken them. They're doing a great job. Brendan Marion has done well in his, I believe, first year as a head coach over there.
Yeah.
They brought in a lot of money, brought in a lot of players. You know who the starting quarterback is over there without looking?
Not off the top of my head.
Jaden Rashada. You remember that?
Oh
When
yeah,
that
yeah,
fiasco?
yeah, yeah.
Like Sac State's got a good team, but Montana has been really, really good. That really just over the last few years, but
Mhm.
they're looking like they might be a certain team to beat going forward.
Yeah.
Now,
That Montana running back Hillman looks, or Spillman looks really, really damn good as well. So,
yeah, no, I certainly
or
buy that.
Gilman, Eli Gilman. Anyways, sorry, had to fact check myself.
Um, with that said, let's go ahead and move forward. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about today, and man, we've got a lot of games to get through, so we'll kind of run through some, and then at the end of it all, Cam, as we go, I'm gonna kind of ask you some random questions. Um,
Mhm.
as we roll through, I have a little segment, a little buy or sell segment. Um, there's one
All right.
game specifically that I'm looking at when it comes to this, but there might be a couple others as we go. You've been here before, as you know. We go kind of G5 up to P5, and then go through all that as it is. So, I'll save a couple games for later in the day because they are a little more important games, but otherwise we go through everything. So, getting started.
Yes, sir.
3:30 on CBS Sports Network. FAU goes on the road to Annapolis to take on the Navy midshipmen. This feels like a bit of a trap game. Navy has North Texas next week. This FAU team can score a lot of points, can really hang around. Caden Veltkamp's biggest hindrance so far this year has been his turnover. His situation has just not really been great at taking care of the football. If Caden Veltkamp takes care of the ball, they are able to push the ball down the field. This could become a bit of a shootout. The over/under sits at 62.5. I could buy it. Navy's put up some incredible numbers. I mean, I think they're on pace right now to maybe not break their passing yardage in a season record, but I think they're pushing it pretty close, or they're going to be. This is going to be a really fun game to watch. I'm excited to see how this goes, what happens. Taking Navy to ultimately get it done, I think they're just too good to really let this thing fail. But man, what a storyline it could be if they were able to fall this week, going into that game with North Texas, knowing what else is on the line around the conference. Really puts us in an interesting spot, especially if like a Memphis beats South Florida and we've got 4 or 5 one-loss teams in the conference.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Like this, like even though Florida Atlantic isn't necessarily having their best year in recent years, um, they could ultimately play a spoiler role type of a thing today. But I expect Navy to be able to get it done. Um, I don't think Florida Atlantic is going to be able to slow down this Navy rushing attack to begin with. I know that Florida Atlantic's defense has struggled against the run, so that's something to pay attention to as well. Overall, I like Navy to win. And as far as like betting goes, I would probably hit the over on the points just because I think Florida Atlantic still has enough to keep up with Navy, but we'll see what happens.
Getting myself my coffee this morning.
No, you're good.
First time I've ever had like a mocha, like a whatever the fuck the hot coffee version of a mocha is.
Yeah.
Had a nice caramel macchiato yesterday, a hot caramel macchiato yesterday from McDonald's. By the way, McDonald's coffee kicks ass. The hot coffee, stunning.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not necessarily a big coffee guy.
I'm not either, but I do like their stuff. It works for me. So.
I've got a raspberry tea, so I understand
fair enough.
needing caffeine this morning.
3 o'clock on ESPN Plus, you can find UConn on the road against Rice. It's part of my Take 10 yesterday. I think UConn covers 10.5 today on the road in Houston. Joe Fasciano has been one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch this year. He has been efficient, impressive, really done some damage with the Huskies offense. I think UConn makes it to bowl eligibility with a win today.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think UConn wins and covers easily. Rice hasn't necessarily looked the best this year in this transition year, but we'll see what happens. UConn wins and covers in my mind as well.
Temple goes on the road to face Tulsa, 3:30 p.m. as well on ESPN Plus. Temple's a 4.5-point favorite going into this game. I saw it at 5.5 yesterday. I'm really buying the Temple cover here. I think that this team, Casey Keeler's done a really good job so far in year one. Evan Simon has looked great early on in this new era out here at Temple. Trey Lamb's done some interesting stuff. Obviously, Tulsa has that big win over Oklahoma State, which how big is that now? Going to be an interesting one today, but I think Temple gets the job done. I think I don't think they're getting enough credit for how good I think they actually have been this year.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Spot on. Temple has looked really good in Casey Keeler's first year, much improved over the past few years there at Temple, really since Rule was there. But overall, as a whole, looked very good. And Tulsa has shown glimpses of a future, but that's not this year. So I'm going to go with Temple to win and cover as well, the 4.5 easily,
Yeah.
because I expect it by a
Conference
touchdown.
USA has nothing today, so let's move on to the MAC that has a full slate of Saturday games this today.
Yeah, go figure. Conference USA tries to take over the Maction role.
Yeah. Well, for the October month, next week, or actually, sorry, 2 weeks from now, I believe. Let's make sure we're certain on that. Yeah, 2 weeks from now is the Maction portion where we get the November Tuesday nights. Yeah, as God intended, really.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
today, 12 p.m. Noon on ESPN Plus, Bowling Green goes on the road, just down the road a little ways over to Kent State. Kent State's looked improved this year. They're 2-5 with wins over. Let me think here. Let me make sure I get this right. I think it's Merrimack and UMass. I know they got a win over UMass, but I'm trying to think of who the FCS shitter they what played was.
It was Merrimack.
Let's go. All right. I know a little ball here once in a while. But Bowling Green, I think, is a better team. Drew Pine, while his numbers haven't been overly impressive, I think he's been kind of what they need. Um, I'm taking Bowling Green to win. I just like their run game a little bit more and what they'll be able to do on the ground. Of course, they're coached by Eddie George, so why wouldn't they be able to run the ball a little bit? I got Bowling Green covering their 7.5. It's up to 8.5 today, so I got it while I was at 7.5. I don't really know if it matters if it's 7.5, 8.5. I think they cover. I think they win by a couple scores. Did I lose Cam? I lost Cam. That's a shame and a half right there. Go ahead and move up. Just do that for the moment, time being, while I wait for Cam to come back. Noon on CBS Sports Network. You got Eastern Michigan hosting Ohio. Ypsilanti is gonna be buzzing, I think, for this game. Ohio comes in 4-3, 11.5 point favorites. Brian Smith has had a solid first year, but I think it's been a little disappointing at times, and certainly in moments. Um, Coming in again as 11.5 point favorites. I think Ohio wins. I like them to cover. I just think they're that much better, really, than Eastern Michigan. But the way the MAC has gone this year, I don't think you can really be too sure of anything. Saying that, Buffalo minus 10.5. Buffalo, just held on to beat Kent State. I think they won 31-28 earlier this year. They get Akron later. Akron today. That's a 1 p.m. kick on ESPN Plus. Buffalo 10.5 point favorites at home. We'll see what they're able to do. I'm taking Buffalo to win, certainly in this one. Cam's made his way back, so let me go ahead and get this pop back up here.
Sorry about that. Well, I was gone visiting my family back home. They installed a couple cameras here, and since then the Wi-Fi has been shit.
Oh,
Um, so I apologize about that.
no, you're good, man. Yeah, sometimes things just happen. So, unless you disagree on Bowling Green, Ohio, or Buffalo winning today, we'll
No,
for the sake of that, we'll carry on.
I think that's pretty chalk. Um, Anyways,
Toledo, Toledo. CW is going to host a game today. Toledo at Washington State. Pullman is getting a fun matchup today. Washington State can score a little bit at times. Toledo can certainly score. Tucker Gleason's been good this year so far. I'm taking the Rockets to win this thing. I think they'll eventually be the better team. They are a point and a half favorites. What a cool matchup we're getting out there today.
yeah, no, that's going to be a fun game from Pullman. Um, Toledo kind of looks like the front runner in the MAC up to this point. So that'll be fun to see them going on the road across 2 time zones to Pullman.
Damn, dude. I know you can hear it. Nobody else can hear what I just said, but my God, dude. You can hear a dog whining in the background. That dog in the background is in trouble for her actions yesterday, and
That dog is having a day.
she will not shut the fuck up. Is what she won't do. So we're trying to figure it out.
Good luck with
Um,
that at this rate.
yeah. Ball State goes on the road to Northern Illinois. 6.5 point favorites are the Huskies, who are 1-6 in their final year as MAC members before they take their trip over to the Mountain West. Make that make sense. Again, six and a half point favorites. It's not been a great year for Thomas Hammock. I think he might be approaching a hot seat here. Because if you can't win in the Mountain or in the MAC, you certainly ain't winning in the Mountain West next year.
Yeah, no, for sure.
We'll see. I like them to win today, though. I think they're better than Ball State, but I've thought they were better than a lot of teams this year and have been proven sorely wrong. So
Yeah, just because I don't really trust my gut on this, like part of me says Northern Illinois, but I don't expect that. I'm gonna go with Ball State. So a little bit of an upset there.
UMass goes on the road to face Central Michigan today. CMU, 15.5 point favorites. That's about right. I saw that Joe Hirosimiak, the head coach for UMass, had to suit up and play a little scout team corner due to some injuries this last week. So
No, it's rough if
things are going wonderfully up there in Amherst, and I'm sure they're just excited to see what happens next in this one. Western Michigan. Go ahead.
UMass is having one of those years where not about it's not about the journey. It's about the friends you make along the way.
Yeah.
I fully expect Central Michigan to win and win very comfortably today.
And I really hope they give Harasimiak some time. I think he's a good coach. I really loved what he did at Rutgers as defensive coordinator. I would like to see him get proper time to actually try to build something there. I mean, look, this is a program. This program has the worst winning percentage since, like, in all of college football and all of FBS since they joined the FBS. They are the worst by a mile.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and they can thank Kansas for finally getting their shit together because Kansas was the only team competing with them up until the last 5 years. So this is not an easy job. This is not a job you just come in and put things together. Give him some time because I think he might be one of the best things that you could have as a head coach with the right time and the right ability to put things together. I mean, look at what Jim Moore has done over there at UConn. I mean, we kind of saw it coming, but that's where we're sitting with them too. So,
yeah, and before that, a lot of people were like, "Hey, UConn should just drop down to the FCS again."
They were planning to,
so.
is my understanding. Is it UConn was planning to at one point.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, yeah, an interesting spot there for them. Moving on. Western Michigan on the road against Miami, Ohio. Look, Western Michigan's been a bit of a surprise. They have some wins that I did not expect them to have at this point in the year. If I'm not mistaken, they got a 14-13 win over Toledo earlier this year. The MAC's a bit of a shit show, right? Like the best teams are all 4-3 at this point in the year. There's nobody that's really got a better record than that. Miami, Ohio's 4-3 as well. They're home favorites, and this one I like DeQuan Finn. I like what this Miami, Ohio offense does when they finally get things together. I'm going to take the Redhawks to get it done in Oxford today.
Yeah, I expect Miami, Ohio to get the win as well. I expect it to be a fairly close game, but I haven't been able to get a read on Western Michigan yet, so I don't necessarily trust them on the road right now.
You know what? Let's make this our first buy or sell of the day, because I'm curious.
I think I lost you again.
No, you didn't. You didn't. I just
Okay.
had to get my bearings. But I mean, I
Okay.
had to write it down. Because if I don't, then I forget or I don't word it right.
Yeah. Sorry, I
No, you're
have
good.
YouTube pulled up
You're good.
as well, so that way I can follow along with the comments or anything like that.
Fair
And
enough.
it buffered for a
Look
second
at
at the
you
same
doing
time.
your due diligence. All right. Buy or sell, Cam. The MAC champions. By the time the championship game is over, will have 9 wins this season.
I'm gonna go with buy because I expect whoever winds up winning the MAC to have at least 8 wins entering conference championship weekend. So naturally, that's going to be a buy because that would put them at 9 after the conference championship game.
It would. It would. And I certainly can do that. Say the buy as well with that. What if I said they'll have 9 wins at the end of the regular season?
I
There's not a
that's
team with a
where
better record than 4-3 right now. Just
yeah
for
no
clarification for everybody watching, there's not a team with a better record than 4-3 in this conference. Um, and there are, let me count here real quick: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams with that exact record of 4-3. Um,
yeah
by the
yeah
way,
no
Toledo is currently sitting here at 2-2 in conference play as we speak right
yeah
now.
I'm I'm probably going to sell that just because we see, especially once the Tuesday action starts, all bets are off with the Mac. Like the Mac is notorious for just tearing itself apart once Tuesday action starts. That's what makes action so fun. But I am definitely going to sell that.
All right, moving on. Let's go talk some Mountain West real quick. We'll kick it off with the first game to kick us today. Utah State takes a little trip down to Albuquerque. They'll face those Lobos of New Mexico with their former head coach, Bronco Mendenhall, at the helm. And while I know that's been a bit of a point of contention for you as a fan, because obviously he was the former BYU coach, now he's at Utah State, and
I am notoriously not a Mendenhall fan.
but he's done a solid job so far this
No,
year. I mean, look, they're
he's
four
done
and
really
three.
well.
They're looking a lot better than we expected them to this point. But man, it's really hard for me to go against Jason Eck and what they've done so far this year. That has been probably one of the more impressive coaching jobs I've seen so far this year. They are playing really good football. They just continue to take care of business in games they should, and they lose the games they shouldn't, or they lose the games they should lose. Um, but at home today, I really don't see this one going the way of the Aggies, even though I know there's a lot on the line on both sides here.
Yeah, no, I expect Jason Eck in New Mexico to at least hang around. Like, obviously, end of the day, you see what's on this shirt, you see what's on this hat. I am clearly a diehard Aggie. I bleed blue for my Utah State Aggie. So at the end of the day, I kind of still expect us to figure out a way to get a win. I like what I've seen from us. The biggest thing is, can our offensive line have any semblance of consistency against a very aggressive defensive front that New Mexico has? Um, if they are able to get a little bit of consistency as far as blocking goes, I fully expect us to win. I expect it to be a really close game, though, either way. And but that's going to be the X factor for us. I love what Eck has done at New Mexico as well. Like, you remember in one of the group chats that we're in, like, once New Mexico made that hire, I was like, absolutely a fantastic hire. Hit it out of the park. So I love what Eck has done in year one. I hope I don't know if he does get a year two just because I expect some bigger schools to offer him. But if he is able to get a year two at New Mexico, watch out. Watch the fuck out because they could easily spoil the lot in the Mountain West next year.
They could probably be a contender. I mean, I don't think they're
Yeah.
far out of being one right now. To be completely honest, where we sit right now at this point in the year, they're 4-3 with a 1-2 record in the conference right now. I don't think they're quite going to get there this year with how good everybody else has been so far this year in this conference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, who expected Hawaii to be 6-2 right now?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No,
I
no
mean,
one.
so there's a long way to go, but I think that yeah, definitely could be a team to watch out next year.
By the way, for those of you guys who are looking to watch that game, you'll need to go on to the Mountain West website or
Amazon
the
Prime.
Mountain West app in order to watch it. ESPN doesn't have that
Hmm.
up, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
And I've been able to find it on Amazon Prime as well. So
Okay.
all year long, the games that have been on Mountain West Conference I've found on Prime. So just a little side note there.
Yeah.
I,
Except for Hawaii.
yeah. At 3:30 p.m. on FS1, you have San Diego State going on the road against Fresno State. Um, this is a big game. San Diego State's undefeated in conference play and has really shown up this year. Sean Lewis has got this team rolling right now, and a big part of that's Jaden Denigal. I mean, he has been probably one of the most surprising. He would be my player of the year in this conference, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't think there would be even a second thought to it to this point so far.
I think that's fair at this
He
point.
has played incredible football so far. Fresno State's at home. I think that gives them a little bit of an advantage. They've played really well, especially there so far this year. But I just really like what San Diego State's putting together. I'm gonna take the Aztecs to get it done today.
Yeah, Jaden Denegal has vastly improved this SDSU offense in year two under Sean Lewis. Um, Figured it would take a year or two just because of where they were at this point in San Diego State history. A little bit of a lull over the past few years, and so definitely like the growth we're seeing there. Um, I I'm gonna go with San Diego State as well to get the win, though Fresno State at home is never an easy place to go. And
Yeah,
so I fully expect Fresno State to be able to hang around with San Diego State.
for sure on that one. Colorado State on the road against Wyoming. Wyoming's wearing a Coal Rush jersey tonight. That's I think a first for them. A
Mm-hmm.
little salute to coal miners everywhere. There's another team that's doing that too today, but they may also start. Their state may also start with a W. But Colorado State on the road, first game without Jay Norvell. Not expecting a huge difference. I think Wyoming gets the job done. They go to 500 on the year, 4-4. Um, really impressive job from Jay Sawville.
Yeah,
This is a
no,
team
for
that felt
sure.
like, and I say that because I know 500 doesn't seem that crazy. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I clarify. But the talent that this team had going into the year, they were expected to be dead last in this conference, and they have really turned up the wick. I mean, what do you expect from somebody who is kind of mentored by Craig Bull, but Sawville's done a great job so far over there.
Ooh, I just looked at the Wyoming Coal Rush, and that looks really, really nice.
Yeah, a little script Wyoming across the chest. It's nice,
Yeah,
man. It's a good
yeah,
looking
like
jersey.
that. Yeah, no, that script Wyoming is really what's doing it for me. I already knew I loved the West Virginia Coal Rush, but yeah, no, like I expect Wyoming to win the border war this year. That's what the rivalry is called for those of you guys who don't know. Um, but I fully expect Wyoming to win just because Colorado State looks really bad this year. Like, and it's not just because of Jay Norvell. Like, they just look bad.
Yeah, absolutely with that. All right, Sunbelt. Let's talk a little Sunbelt action today. Starting at noon on ESPNU, you got 4-3 App State on the road against 4-3 Old Dominion. That spread's dropped from, or actually, it's been the same. It's been 13.5 for a while. And I like Old Dominion to win. I like Old Dominion to cover. They are a really good team, and I liked what I saw from J.J. Cole so far in his time as starter. I just like this Old Dominion team a lot more. I think Old Dominion wins and covers.
Old Dominion wins and covers. App State looks a little better than what I was kind of expecting this year, just because they got absolutely decimated by the portal in the offseason. And they already weren't necessarily great in a very competitive Sun Belt over the past couple of years. So, but I still expect Old Dominion to win and win pretty comfortably.
Yeah. UL Monroe goes on the road to Southern Miss. I've been a big fan of Braylon Braxton this year. Preseason kind of shouted him out as a guy that I thought would be maybe a difference maker in that western portion of the conference, the Western Division. Southern Miss again, 13.5-point favorites over this UL Monroe team. And I like that number. I got that on my take 10 as well. Southern Miss covering 13.5 today.
Yeah, I expect Southern Miss to win and cover. What a difference a year makes, because last year Southern Miss was one of the worst teams in the arguably the worst in the FBS as a whole, and then Charles Huff takes over this year, made a home run hire as offensive coordinator, and that offense is humming this year, and I expect it to be no different. So
Yeah.
give me Southern Miss to get the win.
Yep. Georgia Southern and Arkansas State, two teams that have kind of underwhelmed a little bit to this point in the year. Both teams sitting at 3-4. Arkansas State favorites in Jonesboro today at home. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the road team. I'm gonna take Georgia Southern to get it done today.
I'll go with Arkansas State defends home turf. I expect this to be a close game for the wrong reasons, because I don't necessarily think either team is that good, but I have Arkansas State able to get the win at home.
All right. Troy, 7.5-point favorites at home against Louisiana today. What a miss. What a whiff I had for Louisiana being a conference championship contender on this in this season. It's been a little rough for them so far, but Troy really getting the job done. Impressed with Gerard Parker so far. I mean, look, they've really proven me wrong. I got Troy winning, and I'll take Louisiana cover, and I think this stays within a score.
Yeah, Louisiana, as much as they've had a down year this year, they've still kept really every game they've played pretty close. So I expect Louisiana to cover. Give me Troy to get the win, though. Everything all right over there? Okay.
We're good. We're here. I'm working on it. I gotta deal with
We're
something
surviving,
for a
not
second.
thriving, but surviving.
We're trying. Somebody's gonna be. All right. Let's Pac-12. Only one game today. Just make sure I didn't skip over them. Real quick. Let's do another buy or sell now that we're done with the the G5 real quick. Minus one game. We'll get to it later. AAC champion will be the one to make the college football playoff. Buy or sell? I lost him again. That son of a bitch. I was going to get to that earlier, by the way, with him, and then I lost him then, too. He'll be back. I already know that for a fact. Well, hey, look at that. He is. Hang on. Let me get back over there.
That.
No, you're good. All right. So buy or sell. American Conference champion is the G5 representative in the CFP.
I'm buying that this year. Mountain West is a little bit down. Sun Belt's a little bit down this year and cannibalizing itself a lot. Of course, Mac notorious and infamous for doing that, so fully expect those two to not change. And again, with the Mountain West being down, I like it leaves the American, so I am going to buy that.
You see, what opened this up for me, and I buy too. I don't really care who it is, but what leads me to really ask that because it seems so simple, right? It seems like, well, yeah, no shit. I mean, the American Conference is the only one performing. But what's really come to my mind is that this this group, I think at the top, can end up really kind of taking themselves out of it in a way, right? Like Memphis wins today,
Yeah.
North Texas beats Navy next week, and then I don't know exactly what the schedules are, so forgive me, but a couple teams walk out of here with one or two losses, and then you get a two-loss USF in the conference title game against a two-loss Memphis, for example. Those are the two that come back together,
Mm-hmm.
and you got that versus James Madison, who currently sits here at what are they 6-1 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 6-1. Have yet to allow 300 yards in a game, total yards, 300 total yards in a game
Mm-hmm.
on the season, and they come out of there 12-1 out of the Sun Belt and have maybe one of the best defenses in the Group of Five, plain and simple.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, JMU might have an argument.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if there
Like,
is going to be somebody outside of the American, it is going to be JMU because JMU is far and away the best team in the Sun Belt. I think
well,
Boise's
hang
going
on
to
though,
lose at
because that's not
least
that's
one
not.
more.
I don't think it's a guarantee that it's just them, right? Look at San Diego State for an example. They're 5-1 right now.
I
They're
I
5-1, and
don't
they have a
trust.
34-0 win over Cal.
Okay, yes, they've got the resume, but I still the Mountain West is down to the point where it is cannibalizing itself, like what we've seen a lot of other
Well, it can, but
group of five
all it
teams.
takes in some of these conferences is one team to come out of here with one loss and have a win, like San Diego State has over Cal. Their one loss is Washington State. It's not a terrible loss in Pullman in week 2 with a relatively
Yeah,
new roster. And they've really taken care of business everywhere else. They've had one game that I just can't, it feels super inexcusable to me. 6-3 over Northern Illinois. Like that's the one game where I'm like, what the hell happened
yeah.
there? Everything else, lines up. UNLV, one loss this season. That's to Boise State last week. Um,
They got absolutely throttled though by
but
Boise State.
we've seen teams get their ass kicked and still make the playoffs, even at the Power Five level.
I just don't. I just don't think UNLV is that good to begin with necessarily. I don't. I expect them to finish out with at least one loss, if not two.
Oh no,
Uh,
you're misunderstanding me. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that there are teams
yeah,
because they
no,
have a win over
I just
UCLA. They
no,
San Diego State has that
I
win over Cal.
understand what you're
JMU.
saying. I'm just saying why I don't think it's necessarily going to happen.
Yeah, no, I mean I hear you 100%. Like I'm not particularly in disagreement whatsoever with it. I'm just throwing out scenarios because let's not act like the committee really watches G5 football on.
No,
You don't know
we
what they're
all
talking
know
about.
that they don't.
All right, let's move forward here.
Really quickly before
ACC
you
football.
move on.
Oh, go ahead. I mean I can't hear you, but go ahead because my
Okay.
headset's cutting out. Go ahead. Let's try now.
Okay, yeah. But really quickly, I know you like to occasionally throw out FCS games. You want to know what this week is?
Number one versus number
Dakota
two.
Marker.
Yep.
Dakota Marker. Absolutely going to be a fun game. North Dakota State, South Dakota State, always a blast whenever whenever these two teams face off, partially because both teams are wagons, but just it's fun football to see. And both teams don't like each other. Um, Fully expect another good one. Rightfully so on ESPNU at 8 p.m. Eastern. And expecting good game. Right now, I'm leaning North Dakota State to win and cover just because it's probably gonna be about a field goal to a touchdown game. Historically speaking, within the rivalry, but just wanted to give a shout out to that game at the FCS level.
Yeah, no, 100%. ACC action today. Let's go ahead and get this started. Noon kickoff on ESPN. Georgia Tech, Syracuse. Tech coming in 16.5-point favorites. Syracuse has been okay with Ricky Collins, but certainly a noted drop-off from Steve Angeli. Georgia Tech, the biggest thing for me, I was talking with, as a matter of fact, I was on the phone with BJ earlier this week. We were talking about this Georgia Tech team and why I'm not higher on them than I am, and where I think the difference lies with this Tech team being 7-0 and below some teams that even have 2 losses like Notre Dame. Well, the biggest answer is, what is this team without Haynes King? Yeah, it's an answer that we don't know, but we've seen it before, right? Like, we've seen the story play out. Haynes King gets hurt. Georgia Tech falls off. For me, as a huge fan of Haynes King, hear that as, look, I built a whole College Football 26 offense, playbook, off of what Georgia Tech does with Haynes King. Believe me, I love this team. I love what they do, and I really like Brent Key. I think he's a fantastic head coach. The biggest thing for me in this game, and with Georgia Tech going forward, how healthy can he remain? Because there's been games already this year where he's been genuinely all but scooped up on a fucking shovel to get back to the huddle. How long can he continue to go? He's had injury concerns his whole career, and he's a physical runner. He's a physical guy. Will play his heart out. How far does he go into the season? Because we saw it in game 3 or 4. We've still got 5 to go, and we've seen it multiple times already this year. Oh. If they get into a dogfight today, probably going to be okay because it's Syracuse. I think they'll be fine. But they've still got some big games coming up, including a game late in the year against Miami that they're looking to win. They're looking to put themselves in contention for a conference championship. To me, it just feels like this Georgia Tech team is still 1 or 2 pieces away. I don't think their defense has played quite as well as I would have liked to see. They've been better. Blake Gideon's done a great job. That's why I'm low on them. As of this game, though, Georgia Tech wins. I think they pushed the cover, but I don't know that it'll be quite a 17-point win.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that. Haynes King definitely is the Georgia Tech offense. I just wanted to confirm that own bias that I had, and I looked up the stats. He even leads rushing by over 150 yards, just about. So Haynes King is this Georgia Tech,
which is impressive when you have a guy like Jamal Haynes in the backfield. Yeah. It's truly odd.
I love what Georgia Tech does, though. Just slow down the game, make it a very physical game, and make you have to slow down the run in a world of all these spread offenses. It's cool to see a Power 5 team doing that. I agree with you. I fully expect Georgia Tech to win pretty comfortably and right around the spread. I would not touch the spread.
I think they'll hover. I think they'll get a little Bobby Dodd love, get themselves over it, but they'll hover right at it all game, I think.
Yeah. I fully expect it to be around a 17-point victory.
Yeah. At noon on ACC Network, if you'd have flipped these two teams' records, I probably might have believed you. But damn, Virginia looks good. Just outside the top 15 right now, number 16. 6-1 on the year, going down to Chapel Hill to take on the North Carolina Tar Heels. And I'm taking Virginia to win. Again, a team that I think will kind of hover around that cover mark. I think they might be able to win just by sheer. They might be able to cover that by sheer talent and grit of a guy like Chandler Morris. But this is an intriguing team to me. This Cavs team. But I'm taking the
Yeah,
Hoos.
yeah, I agree with that. I'd take the Who's to win as well. I I lean towards a cover just because I imagine it's going to be a two and a field goal type of victory for UVA.
Yeah. SMU goes on the road to Wake Forest. Sleepy Wake Forest team, 4-2. Remember preseason? I said this team will get to a bowl game. Robbie Ashford's questionable today. If he plays, I like a chance of Wake Forest pull the upset at home in Winston-Salem. SMU has been solid, but they just haven't been good. They haven't blown me away, right, as a team. They're 5-2 though, without a loss in conference play, thanks to the fact that their 2 losses come by way of a historic comeback from Baylor and TCU just beating the doors off of them. I like this game. I think SMU is probably rightly the favorite, but if there's just something about it, I'm gonna go ahead and take Wake Forest to get it done today. Maybe it's a little homer in me, right? Being from the area, being just down the road. But I like what we got here today.
Yeah, I'm just looking up really quickly to see if Robbie Ashford is expected to play. He is available for today.
Well, that's what I have was questionable, expected to play.
Yeah,
probable, I think was what he was listed as. Was probable.
I just wanted to double check that really quickly.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, how dare people do homework, right?
Just a little, just a little.
Yeah, but I'll go with SMU is able to get the win. I expect Wake Forest to keep it close though, so I'd go SMU gets the win.
All right. NC State on the road against Pitt. The Panthers 6.5-point favorites, and I love that number. I have Pitt covering all day on this one. I like what they've done so far this season, and really it's been kind of the change, right? That they've made it quarterback, surprisingly, going away from Holstein, but he had some turnover issues earlier in the year, especially in that game against West Virginia. And really, since making the change, they have been damn good. They came out and dominated Boston College. They got an upset win over Florida State, and then went out and controlled a game over Syracuse. Their path to the end of the year is not particularly an easy one. This is a team that I predicted to be 9-0 by the time they got through 9 games this year because of what was in front of them. And by the way, I wasn't terrible. I just didn't expect them to lose to West Virginia, and Louisville was a bit of a surprise in Pittsburgh, but nonetheless. They'll be favored in their next 2. This one against NC State, they'll be favored against Stanford. Then they have Notre Dame at home, Georgia Tech on the road, and Miami at home. Mm-hmm. Look, if they're going to make a run, they'll be proven when they do it. If they win their final 4 ACC games, they'll be proven. But understand, they only have 1 conference loss right now. They could be in contention all the way to the end. Nonetheless, looking at this team, I just think that they're going to win. I think they're going to control NC State, get the win cover.
Yeah, especially with NC State having a down year. That's intriguing to pay attention to, so I will make sure to pay attention to that the rest of the season because I couldn't remember Pitt's schedule off the top of my head. Could have messaged Sean and just to double check with it. But yeah, no, I expect Pitt to win comfortably and easily cover the 6.5 over NC State.
Miami at home against Stanford, 29.5-point favorites. They'll be getting a healthy Stanford team to an extent. Bengal Branson expected to return today at quarterback for the Cardinal. Not particularly expecting it to matter. I also don't know how we're going to see Miami on the field with these unis they're wearing tonight. I mean, it's going to be kind of tough to figure it out with those camo jerseys they're putting on. But No, in all seriousness, it's going to be an interesting game. I think Miami will win. I don't know if they'll cover. I don't particularly care to pick a cover on a 30-point spread. I'll say Stanford covers 30. Stanford covers that 29.5. But I think they'll be just fine. Miami wins. They'll be 6-1.
Stanford's been scrappy this year, so I still expect Miami to win, though. Win very comfortably. 30, basically 30 is probably a little too much. I'd go Stanford to cover as well.
Boston College on the road against Louisville. What an awful year for the Eagles. This has been 1-6 so far in the year. Louisville at home, 26.5 point favorites win. I'm gonna say, I'll say BC covers, but I don't really care.
I'll go Louisville win and Louisville cover just because
Yeah.
I don't like what I've seen from Boston College this year at all. They look considerably down in year 2 of Bob. So
All right, let's get you another question here. This is not so much of a buy or sell. This is just answer the question as I ask it. 2025 ACC champions currently. Is it a team that is ranked right now or unranked right now? Who's going to win the ACC title? I don't need a specific team. Just tell me, are they ranked or unranked?
I'm going to go with ranked because I do expect it to be
Okay.
one of the 4 teams. Like
let's follow this up. ACC champs ranked in the top 15 currently or not? It's 2-2.
Top 15 currently. Yeah.
Okay. ACC champs. Florida or not? Are they in Florida or not?
I'll go not.
Okay.
I'll go Georgia Tech.
Interesting. All right. I'm saying the same thing. Ranked, but there are a couple different teams I have my eye on in that question, in that conversation. We've already talked about Pitt, right? Duke currently 3-1, and they are rolling right now in ACC play. I mean, they are rolling. I don't know if you've seen Duke's schedule by chance. They have a bye today. They won't play today, but they go to Clemson next week. They have UConn the week after. By the way, that's a sneaky road game. Thankfully, they don't got to worry about it because it's not conference play. Virginia at home in Wallace Wade Stadium. Okay. UNC in Chapel Hill. Whatever. Wake Forest at home. Duke could sneak into Charlotte.
Yeah. Duke
could sneak their way to Charlotte.
Could. Pitt could. SMU still can, probably just because SMU is able to. They have the offense to keep up with anyone in the country.
Well, that was the other team. SMU's in that conversation. Virginia Tech kind of figured out how to play some offense, but they're 3-5. Like, do we expect Virginia Tech to even get there? For me, it comes down to those 3: SMU, Pitt, and Duke. One of them, I think, could. I just think that Duke is a team that can maybe sneak their way there. And if they're playing at a high enough level, which they hung around with Georgia Tech last week, probably could have won that game if it weren't for a little bit of help. I think they have a talented enough team that can beat Virginia. I don't expect Virginia to get there. I just don't. I think the wheels come off at some point.
Is not getting there. They have Louisville.
I'm not saying Virginia Tech will. I'm just saying that they're 2-2 and they look good. They're like one of the only teams at that 2-loss margin I could see.
If it weren't for their schedule, because then they also have Miami and UVA to finish out.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting spot. An interesting place to discuss, because imagine it's Georgia Tech and Duke in that conference championship game. A rematch. How often do teams win their rematch? By the way, Duke will be essentially the home team in that game in Charlotte. I mean, it's not out of the question for it to be an unranked team currently that wins this
Yeah,
ACC
no, like
conference. It's just not. Imagine
yeah,
Virginia actually gets there and plays Duke.
Virginia Duke could be a fun game as a whole.
I mean, I'd probably first question I'd ask is, are we sure this isn't basketball? But then I might show up. I might just go for the vibes. You never know.
Go for the vibes.
But that's just where I sit right now. I thought it was kind of an interesting question because there is like this path
Yeah,
for
no.
a team like Duke to go and do it and be there. So
Yeah, no, like Duke definitely has a path. Pitt has a favorable path. And then I can't remember SMU's half. Let me double check that. But either way, like SMU is good enough that they, even being undefeated right now in conference, like they have Miami and Louisville, so split one of those games. And yeah, SMU is still alive in it as well. So it's ACC is going to be a fun conference to watch down the stretch
hmm
overall as a whole.
I'm getting my next question loaded up for you.
All right.
All right, Big 12, Kansas State Sunflower Showdown TNT at noon. Because it's gonna make you want to blow your TV up with dynamite watching it. But um, no, Kansas at home 3.5 point favorites. I'm gonna take the Jayhawks to win this one. Sorry.
Kansas win. I agree. Like I've just not been impressed by Kansas State as a whole this year. So give me Kansas to win, and I'd go Kansas cover the 3.5 points.
Yeah.
Careful doing that in a rivalry though.
Yeah. BYU on the road in Ames at Iowa State. Like, do I just fully buy into it? Like, is that what it's going to take for this BYU team to actually lose a game? And I'm not trying to pick them to lose because I want them to lose. I think this is actually a great story in college football right now. Bear
No, I
Bachmeyer has
straight
been
up want
awesome.
them to lose.
I know you do.
Fuck the Cougars.
I know
Fuck
you
the
do.
Cougars.
But, like, in terms of, like, storylines and what Bear Bachmeyer has done this year, I mean, we got to give him the credit that he deserves.
No,
This is impressive
was
stuff that we're
yeah.
seeing. And he's going in there, he's leading this team through hostile environments. He's leading this team against some of the best teams in college football that are in the conference that they're facing. They are 7-0. And who of any of us would have thought at this point that BYU would be 7-0 right now?
No, I had them 0-7 at this point. I'm kidding.
I know it's tough to win in Ames. I know it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to take BYU to get it done today. Give me the Cougs. It's 8-0 after tonight.
Call me and check on me later because I also have BYU winning. I think that I think Bear Bachmeyer is for real. I've been impressed by the growth he has had as a quarterback, as a true freshman quarterback at a place like BYU, which is known for quarterback play. Like that is a pressure packed situation for a true freshman. Any true freshman. So like forgive me, Aggie God, for complimenting those bastards in Provo, but I fully expect BYU to win. Also, Iowa State is just decimated with injuries. So,
Imagine if both teams win today.
Able to step up. Like I fully expect BYU to win. And also, I've said this all year that BYU defense is fucking legit this year.
Mhm.
So give me
If BYU and Texas Tech both win today, game day had better have their asses in Lubbock in 2 weeks. That's an epic clash coming up. And by the way, this is BYU's schedule. It's not particularly easy. They've got some really good teams still on their radar. They got Iowa State this week, a bye before they play Texas Tech. TCU they host in Provo, and then they go on the road to Nippert and face Cincinnati, who's been probably a bigger surprise than Houston to this point in the conference. I mean, it's just it isn't particularly an easy path to the end, but they've certainly got a way to get there. At 4 p.m., the other half of this game in 2 weeks, Texas Tech, 37.5-point favorites. Do they cover or not? I'm going to say yes. Does the over hit? Probably from Texas Tech alone. I don't care if Will Hammond's starting and Baron Morton's out. Baron Morton's available as an emergency quarterback, but it's Will Hammond at quarterback today. And I'm still taking Texas Tech to win and dominate this game. I don't think it's even going to be close. I think you could give Oklahoma State a 21-point lead, and Texas Tech might still cover 37.5. Like that's just the kind of day we're talking about here.
Yeah, no. Like between Oklahoma State being down, Texas Tech just being damn good this year, with that $1 billion roster.
Oh, he got it for $500K. It's good.
Oh, nice. I don't have game day up today, but that's good. That's always fun to see. But yes, in 2 weeks, game day needs to be at that game in Lubbock if both BYU and Tech win today. But give me Tech to win, Tech to cover. And you're 100% right. Like it could easily be they hit the over under total on their own. But yeah, setting up showdown Saturday in 2 weeks.
Look at the scoreboard crane in the background from the stadium. Oh man, isn't that awesome? Okay. Anyway, sorry, I'm making too much fun of a team that's that good. Holy hell, man, what a kick! All right. Cincy hosting Baylor. Talk about surprise team, 6-1 going into this one at home against a 4-3 Baylor squad, and yeah, that's right. Those Cats are favored today in this game, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Yeah, give me Cincy to win this game at home in Nippert. I think that place is gonna be rocking today. What an opportunity for Cincinnati right now to come out and say, you know what? Look. This isn't just hype. This is a team that can genuinely go out and win football games. I love what they bring at the running back position. Tawi Walker, Evan Pryor. I may be a little biased. I may be a little familiar myself with this team. But I think they have 2 stud running backs. They got a quarterback who can play with the best of them. And they've got a receiver room that everybody questioned with the guys that they brought up from FCS. The guys they brought up from schools that don't even really don't even play football anymore. Some of the guys that they have at the receiver position. And they are playing great ball. I mean, look, people are going to sit here and say, oh, man, well, Scott Satterfield knew he had to play with an experienced team, playing for his job and all that stuff. That's true, but if you actually look at the work that was done in the offseason to put this team together, he's got another year of Brennan Sorsby, should he decide to stay, and he's got a lot of these receivers he's brought up for another year. And he could probably plug and play running backs right now behind Pryor and Walker. Mm-hmm. I don't know that Cincinnati's not here to stay for more than just a year. Now, I'm not buying into it because I've certainly sold my bill of goods on Scott Satterfield in the past, especially at Louisville. But I just feel like this feels a bit different at Cincinnati. What he's got, the future still remains. Like I heard somebody say, well, Cincinnati's not going to be good for more than just 1 year. They might be. Like this team didn't just come together over the course of one of a day. You know, like it didn't just build up and all of a sudden over 4 years, then you have this group of upperclassmen. The other thing I'll talk about, Tyson Veit. If I'm saying his last name right, forgive me if I'm not, but we might be talking about a guy who's up for a big-time job as a defensive coordinator. What a job he's done for this team so far this year. Mm-hmm. Coaching guys, you got Dante Corleone up the middle, Jake Golday at linebacker, and they're playing really good football so far. I wouldn't particularly mind hearing grumblings that Wink Martindale's out at Michigan. That's a guy that I would love to have at Michigan next year, just being completely honest. So, Cincy, I think it's truly a legit team this year. I think there's a little more to this than just, oh, they're kind of coming out of the woodwork. Like, I think this is a really fun team. Long-winded, but Cincy wins, and the under 67.5. That is too much. I think if a team hits 30, they win today, and probably are winning comfortably. Baylor, Cincinnati have both played really well defensively all year long. I just don't see 67 coming in this one.
Yeah, no, like both these teams have played well defensively. I fully don't expect the 60 and a half, the 67 and a half to hit.
Yeah.
Um, as far as like a total goes, like I would slam that under. But I'm gonna go with Baylor is able to pull off the upset. I fully expect it to be a close game, come down to the wire, and kudos to Cincy because I didn't have Cincinnati being this improved this year. Um, but I just expect Baylor to get one more, just enough stops and able to get the win. So give me Baylor to win
All right.
on the road at Nippert.
TCU going to face the old coal miners in West Virginia today, and man, what a scary thought that is to be facing those guys and these unis today. TCU already doesn't have the best track record on the road in games in Morgantown as it is. They're 1-5, I think, since West Virginia joined the Big 12. Could be mistaken. But man, what an opportunity up in front of them today to get a win and continue themselves as contenders. As for West Virginia, this is about the time where I start to say I don't know that you want to be playing this West Virginia team when they start to get it figured out. And through all the injuries, through all the bullshit that's gone on for them this year, I still feel like that time's coming. That turning point's going to happen where they start to really put pressure on some teams. They may not beat anybody. They may not. They could very well go 2-10. I don't know that that's particularly true or going to happen, but this is a team that could be 4-8, but they could lose the rest of their games by 14 or less. That's just the genuine nature of where they're at right now. I got TCU winning. I'm going to go West Virginia covers. I just think that the Coal Rush unis bring out something special today.
Yeah, I fully expect West Virginia to come out ready, ride the hype of the Coal Rush. Also, another fantastic uniform set. Those black unis that WVU has for the Coal Rush.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I think TCU is able to win, but it's going to be close because there's going to be a lot of momentum entering this game. They're finally starting to turn a corner, and I expect this game to be where they officially turn that corner, and we see a lot of growth over the back half of this WVU schedule.
Yeah. We'll do this one real quick. 10:15 p.m. Colorado goes on the road to Utah. Utah's 5-2, really on a roll right now. 13.5 point favorites. I think Utah wins. It's nothing really against Colorado. I don't think anything negative of them. I don't know. It's kind of where I expect them to be. I just thought they were middle of the road in this conference this year, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like Colorado had to replace a lot, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Give me Utah to win. I'd actually lean towards a Colorado cover just because I think both these teams' defenses have played well up to this point. We've seen Utah's offense kind of struggle at times against solid defenses. So give me Utah to win, Colorado to cover. But overall, definitely going to be a Utah win.
Yeah. Save this one for last because I wanted to talk about it a little bit more in depth. Houston goes on the road to Arizona State. The Sun Devils missing Jordan Tyson today. I think that's going to be a bit of an underrated storyline as we walk in, but it's going to be noted very heavily when this past game takes a bit of a step backwards. The lines come down. It was 8.5 earlier this week. It was 8.5. ASU was favored. It keeps dropping. Glad I got it when I did. I'm taking Houston upset. I love this Cougar team. I really do. I've been on them from preseason saying this is going to be a sleeper team in this conference. And they keep proving that they might just be more than a sleeper. They might be a legit contender in this conference. The defense is playing great football. The offense is doing a good job taking care of it. Connor Wegman, I mean, what more did you expect from him? He's an experienced starter at the SEC level. He drops down to the Big 12 and is having one of his best years to date. And this team just continues to get better. They continue to improve. And what do you expect from Willie Fritz as a head coach, right? This is going to be kind of the MO of Houston going forward. They're going to walk out of here 7-1 today.
Not so fast, sweetheart. Give me ASU to win. Of course, a little bit of a homer take, but I I love what the running game, even without Scattaboo, has been able to do. Um, so I fully expect them to be able to still continue to establish the run the way that they have up to this point in the year. I mean, look at the Mississippi State game. It was not the passing attack that got us back in to that game. That was we just lined up and shoved it down their throats. That was able to get us back into the game. Unfortunately, weren't able to complete that comeback, but I still expect Arizona State to get the win even without Jordan Tyson.
All right. Buy or sell for me real quick. College game day will go to Salt Lake City next week, assuming Utah and Cincinnati win today.
I'm going to sell that. I do not expect that. As much fun as Cincy has been and whatnot.
He froze again. That's son of a gun. I'll give him a minute. So I lost you, but you come back. Let me just go.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, no, I said that I'm gonna sell that just because unless that is an ESPN Big 12 game, I don't expect them to go there.
Well, here's
For
where
that matchup.
I'm throwing it out here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Utah is not ranked, sure. But let's look at other games that are in the conversation, right? Oklahoma, Tennessee. Oklahoma and Tennessee both have had game day this year. I think a couple of, if I'm not mistaken, Tennessee's had been a part of game day twice now.
Yeah.
So that one, Vandy's getting it this week. Vandy's got game day this week. I don't think they'll go to a Vandy game twice in a row.
No.
So there's that. Georgia, Florida could have been a better matchup, but I don't think they'll go there due to what that game looks like. And beyond that, there's not another matchup that means as much to maybe a conference race as the one that sits behind Cincy and Utah.
Yeah.
Now, here's one that I've thrown out there that I think could be interesting. Dartmouth is 5-1. Harvard plays today for a chance to be 6-0 next week. Dartmouth and Harvard could meet up as a combined 11-1 next week.
If that happens, I'd be cool with that.
I would be happy. I would be happy to see the Ivy League get a game. I would. Yeah. I'd love to see them go to Harvard again, and especially for a game like that, because Dartmouth beat the shit out of Columbia yesterday. I wasn't even close. I think Harvard's going to do the same today in their game. I think they're playing. Oh man, who did I?
Maybe just because they play Princeton today. They're favored by 19.5. Yeah. I just looked. Harvard's probably going to enter that game undefeated. Dartmouth, of course.
I'm going to buy they go to Salt Lake City, but I'm holding out hope that they go to Harvard next week. That's my personal want.
Double checking the slate, I'm going to change my pick and say buy. I just double checking that. The alternative would be a lot more fun though, going to them nerds up there at Harvard.
Yeah. All right. Let's roll Big Ten real quick. There's not anything crazy today. There's a couple games that are intriguing, but let's just go ahead and get out of the way. Indiana, UCLA. I got UCLA to cover 27.5. I like the over in this game. It was at 53.5 yesterday. I took it at 53.5. It's down to 52.5. Go ahead and get that while it's hot. UCLA covers. I think the offense looks better. Jerry Neuheisel, great job so far. as the OC. Tim Skipper, great job, as we could have expected from an interim coach, and it couldn't have gotten worse. So good for them. They went from 0-4. They're now 3-4, 3 straight wins. I don't think they'd make it 4 in a row, but hell of a story. IU, I mean, wagon right now. No need to spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah, no, I fully expect IU to win. Win pretty comfortably, probably wind up covering. But I would not be surprised if UCLA gives them fits for like a half, just because UCLA is playing with house money at this point. Like
I just think UCLA is going to score, and that's what's going to keep them from keep Indiana from covering this game. That's why I like the over in this one. Oregon gets Wisconsin, 31.5-point favorites. I think Oregon wins comfortably, dominates, moves on. I don't even want to spend any time on this, to be honest.
yeah, Oregon wins comfortably.
Noon on FS1, Northwestern, Nebraska. Nebraska 7.5-point favorites. Watch out for Northwestern today. Watch out. They're quietly 5-2. I mean, it just could happen today. It just could happen that Northwestern ends up 6-2 and going bowling. Not ruling out Nebraska. No pun intended. But I think there's a lot of drama surrounding the program right now, especially with the idea that Matt Rule is likely on his way out to Penn State. I could just see a world where things start to unravel over there, and next thing you know, Preston Stone leads this Northwestern team to 6-2. Who'd have thought that? He threw 4 interceptions in the season opener, by the way, against Tulane. And here we are again, talking about Northwestern being right in the conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna go skeet shooting here. Pull. Give me Northwestern to win and win outright. I like what I've seen out of Northwestern this year.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun game. I fully expect, regardless of if me being a little aggressive here and calling an upset, I fully expect Northwestern's still going to cover and hang around with Nebraska. But just since there's so much noise within the Nebraska program, Northwestern being better than what everyone expected entering the year, and culmination with the noise, I fully expect Northwestern able to get the win and win outright with the upset.
Yeah. Rutgers and Purdue in Ross-Ade Stadium today. I'm going to go ahead and give Purdue their due here. I don't know why I keep saying shit like that, but I'm going to give Purdue their credit. I think they'll get the win at home today.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Rutgers is able to get the win. Like, Purdue's definitely much improved over where they had been under Walters, but I think Rutgers is able to get the win on the road at Ross-Ade.
All right. 3:30 on Big Ten Network. Washington hosting Illinois, 3.5-point favorites in this one. Man, it's tough for me, right? Because Illinois feels like they're a team that's much better or played much better than they are. But little do we know, they're like the 73rd ranked total defense in college football. They've been torched a lot this year.
Not what you expect from a Burt team.
Yeah, they've been torched a lot. I mean, Indiana got a hold of them. Ohio State got a hold of them. Even USC and Purdue have gotten a hold of them on offense. Gives me a little bit of pause in this game, but I still like the under 54.5. I still like that number. Washington's defense has played well enough. But I'm going to go ahead and take Illinois to win. I just think they are a little bit better than Washington. And they're also coming out of a bye week, which I think helps a little bit.
Yeah. Give me Washington to win and win outright again. I expect the over to hit because Illinois' defense is not what we thought they were coming into the year. I still expect it to be a fun game, come down to the wire, but give me Washington to win.
All right. Florida Rosedale, 3:30 on CBS. Minnesota and Iowa. Iowa 8.5-point favorites in Kinnick Stadium. I don't care. Minnesota. I love what this Minnesota team's done. They are playing with their hair on fire defensively, and the offense is starting to get better and better as things go on, especially as they get healthy and they stay healthy, especially at running back. I like Minnesota today.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, I fully like Floyd of Rosedale is typically a fun game.
Hmm.
So I expect it to continue to remain a fun game. But give me Minnesota to win, pull off the upset. I expect it to be right around the 39.5 as well. Um, just because both teams try to slow down the game, grind it out. Even though Minnesota's kind of changed that MO in the style that they do, they've had to shift to more of a short passing game rather than running the ball like what we've seen the past few years with PJ Fleck. But I expect Minnesota to get the win in a very, very close game.
Yeah. Michigan and Michigan State in East Lansing tonight, 7:30 p.m. on NBC. I gotta say, this is one of those like Michigan State's playing with house money type of games, and
Mhm.
I just fear some of the mentality we've seen from Michigan, especially on the road at times this year. I'm gonna believe in this team. I'm gonna believe in Michigan to get it done today. Um, but I hold a lot of reservation of that. I think Michigan wins. Um, I think covers because I truly think better team and Aiden Childs' injury status. I know he's expected to play, but he's not been 100% really at all this year. Um,
Mhm.
we got Jonathan Smith playing for his job and coaching for his job, I think, and we've got Sherman Moore
Yeah.
likely doing the same in some regards. So, um, interesting spot to be sitting in, but I'm gonna take Michigan to win. And I'll take the cover because I think the team's good enough to do that, but again, a lot of reservation of what this week holds.
Give me Michigan State to cover. I fully expect Michigan State to cover. But I'll go with Michigan wins. I expect it to be a really close game. Um, like we just like both these teams have been kind of inconsistent though throughout the year, so it's like which team shows up because like even at that Michigan State has been inconsistent at home too. So I just expect the talent of Michigan to win out in this game, but it's going to be a close game, and I fully expect Michigan State to cover playing with that house money, like you had mentioned.
Yeah. All right, SEC real quick. Actually, real quick, we'll just go ahead and get this out of the way. USF and Memphis. Big deal today. Brendan Lewis has announced he's
Huge
going to
deal.
play. I was kind of waiting for some of that news to drop to help us out. I'm taking Memphis at home. I think they'll get the job done today.
I agree with you. I think Memphis gets the win at home. Um, I like what I've seen from Memphis. Like I expect them to kind of slow down the game a little bit. USF has played super fast this year.
Yeah.
So I expect that to kind of be the difference. Memphis's ability to kind of slow down the game, force USF to play at a Memphis type of a speed rather than the hyper speed that we've seen throughout the year for them. So give me Memphis to win at home as well.
Yeah. All right. SEC. Auburn and Arkansas playing in Fayetteville today. 12:45 p.m. kick on SEC Network. Arkansas is our favorites going into this game. I don't particularly care. I think Auburn wins. My biggest question mark here is Auburn's offensive line. That's been the biggest storyline all year for them. Jackson Arnold was announced he's going to start. Helps me out a little bit in this pick. Um, Auburn wins a tight one.
Yeah, War Eagle wins a tight one. I like it feels like Hugh Freeze is kind of dead man walking. Of
Yeah.
course, Pittman
Yeah.
already out at Arkansas.
Yeah.
So I expect it to remain a close game, but give me Auburn, Auburn, that A team to get the win.
All right. Speaking of A teams, Alabama on the road against South Carolina. It's homecoming in Columbia today. I don't give a shit. I saw what I saw last week. Alabama wins, covers 11.5, big. I'm just gonna keep hoping that my dreams come true after that one. So not gonna announce those dreams live, but we all know. We all know what they are. I don't care.
I won't spoil them. I'll save them for you. But yeah, Alabama to win. Like this Carolina offense just looks really bad, and
It's not just the
I
offense.
don't.
It ain't just the offense. That's the worst part.
The
Um,
secondary also hasn't been great.
yeah. Texas, Mississippi State. Can I throw kind of a watch out on this game? Like, I don't think it's an upset, and I'm not taking Mississippi State to win, but, like, if we get to the fourth quarter and it's 21-17 Mississippi State, I'm not really taking a second look. Like, I'm not double taking and being like, what the fuck? Like, I'm going to sit back and say, oh, okay,
Yeah.
what do we do here? You know, like, what in the world do we say about this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got Texas winning, but I got Mississippi State covering at home. Welcome to the Cowbells, motherfucker. Have fun with that.
Yeah, them cowbells are going to be out in full force. I'm going to go with Texas is able to get a very, 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 very close win. But Mississippi State is never an easy place to go. Stark Vegas is absolutely wild, and I expect this to be no different. And Mississippi State hasn't looked bad. They've looked much better in year 2 under Jeff Levy. And
it's health. It's pure health. Like, they're healthy. They can run the ball thanks to Fluff Bothwell. Like, they're just a better team right now, as a whole, and that really helps out, obviously. So
yeah,
no, I'm happy with them.
I'm still hesitant to pull this upset, but watch out. At least scoreboard watch this game, because going into the fourth, if Texas is struggling, I don't expect that to change.
It's kind of like the Arizona State game earlier, right? Like, I think Mississippi State will just hang around, and if they can hang around, they have the ability. I'm not trying to bring up poor memories, Cam, but like, they have the ability to hit that home run ball that ultimately changes the entire outcome of the game. It's just that's the kind of team they are. We'll see what happens. I'm certainly keeping an eye on it. A game I don't think I'm really going to look a second time at. Tennessee at Kentucky. I could see a world where Kentucky gets it done. Cutter Bully's been pretty solid and, led a really good offense last week. The ability to get that game to overtime against Texas. The storyline here for me is just Tennessee's offense is too good, and for once we'll see the Tennessee defense step up because they're playing a team that can barely move the ball. Tennessee will win and cover that 7.5 today.
Tennessee wins and easily covers that 7.5.
Yeah. Texas A&M goes on the road to LSU. Look, Whit Weeks is going to be out today. We've seen Garrett Nussmeier struggle to take care of the football in these big games already this year. Things haven't really changed. And when somebody just proves to you who they are time and time again, you kind of just got to take it and believe it and run with it. Texas A&M's done a really good job. And while they're going to be missing Le'Veon Moss, Marcel Reed, I think, is going to pick up the slack with his legs, and I'm certainly expecting Ruben Owens to do a great job today as well. I got A&M winning. I think they'll be 8-0 after this one. Yeah. Now, how do they end up at 8-4 this year?
Yeah, but I love this A&M offensive line. This A&M offensive line is really competitive. They're gamers, and that's been the biggest difference this year, I feel like, for A&M. Of course, Elko, you're going to have a fucking legit defense anytime Elko is on your coaching staff. And so I fully expect A&M to get the win. Since it is at home, I fully expect LSU to hang around, but give me A&M to win, A&M to cover the 2.5, but I think A&M is just a bit too much for this LSU team.
Yeah. Ole Miss and Oklahoma. Trinidad Chambliss announced he's going to be the starter. Austin Simmons is available if needed, but Chambliss has been by far the starter. Even getting a little Heisman love lately, which I'm all for. I'm a big fan of that idea. Um,
Yeah.
Oklahoma 5.5 point favorites today though. John Mateer, man, I don't know. I'm gonna know about 3 or 4 plays into this game whether or not it's gonna be an Ole Miss or Oklahoma win. It's just gonna come down to whether John Mateer can throw the ball downfield. If they start taking shots
Mhm.
early in the game, it's gonna open up a lot more. Um, I'm taking Ole Miss. I'm gonna stick to it just because I need to see John Mateer play at 100% before I buy into anything. I had it 19-17 earlier this week. I'm going to take it 19-17 Ole Miss.
I'll go 2017 Oklahoma. I fully expect. I think Mateer is healthy, and you are 100% correct in the sense that if Mateer is healthy, that's going to be the biggest difference in this game.
Yeah,
Like Ole Miss is still a really good team. Like that's not a slight at them, but Mateer's ability to take the top off of a defense at any given point
I
in the
really hope
game
the distractions
is
don't
the
take the
difference
wheels off
maker.
of it for them this year.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, we're all hearing the Lane Kiffin, Florida rumors, and I just hope that these distractions don't take away from the year they're having because it's been unreal. Like they're
Hmm.
playing better. This is what last year's team should have looked like. This is what last year's team
Yes.
should have been, and they've done a great job. It's just a credit to them. I really don't want the wheels to come off of it. I think they have a legit shot to be a contender. Um, but we'll go ahead and close it out here. Missouri and Vandy, and I got one question for you at the end of this thing.
Okay.
This is going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really fun game. Missouri has been a great team about getting pressure. They average 3 sacks a game. Zion Young has 5 sacks on the season so far in the first 7 games for this team. Missouri's the best rushing offense in college football, or pushing that, but they're the best in the conference for sure. Um, and what they're doing, though, that is going to surprise me here in this game is going to be how much are they going to rely on that. How much is Vandy going to force Bo Prabula to make plays? Remember, Bo Prabula has got 2 touchdowns and 4 picks in the last 2 games, so against pretty solid competition, that being Auburn, where he had no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And he was 2-2 with Alabama 2 weeks ago. If you get him uncomfortable, the wheels might fall off of this thing early for Missouri, and that's a huge opportunity for Vandy to pounce because they are big about playing with momentum. The other thing here, on the ground, great. Vandy is one of the most opportunistic teams at forcing fumbles. They create a lot of problems by getting to the football and punching at the ball.
Hmm.
A lot of these things just feel like Vandy plays into the favor, right? And then you talk about this offense
Yeah.
that's so tough to stop, and I think it's going to be difficult to get pressure. Missouri's certainly going to do it. LSU had 13 pressures last week, but they only got 1 sack on those 13 pressures, and LSU's been blitz happy all year. Blake Baker's brought a different style.
Hmm.
Gone back to his aggressive style, really, this
Yeah.
year. And Missouri is no different. They're going to bring Josiah Trotter. They're gonna get Zion Young ways to be one-on-one in pass rush scenarios, and they're going to create pressure. Can they complete the play? Can they get to Pavia and make it difficult? At the end of the day, I just trust this Vandy team. I love their fundamental awareness, their sound play in the fundamental areas, and the way they take care of the ball is something that I just haven't seen from Bo Prabula. 5 straight games with a turnover so far this year. For me, this is a Vandy game to lose. Truthfully,
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with that. Like Vandy, the biggest difference between this year and last year's Vanderbilt team is Pavia has improved so much at taking care of the ball. Um, because last year, if I'm not mistaken, like Vandy turned it over a shit ton, and that was the biggest difference maker and why they only went 6-6 on the year. So I expect that to be able to continue to be the story if Vanderbilt is able to continue to take over the ball, take care of the ball the way that we've seen this year. Vanderbilt's going to win this game. If they don't, I expect Mizzou is able to ride that momentum and of a turnover, because that's been the big thing with Mizzou is they are a momentum based offense. Like if they've got momentum, they are humming and they are one of the best offenses in the country. If they don't have momentum, they're they're not necessarily one of the best offenses in the country. And Clark Lee is going to be able to bring blitzes from different looks the way that we've seen him throughout his time at Vanderbilt. He's a great defensive mind, and I expect this to be no different. Give me Vanderbilt to win in a close one, though. All that being said.
All right, my final buy or sell for you of the day. You ready for this one?
Yes.
Winner of this game makes the college football playoff.
I'd buy that.
I buy it big time. I buy it big time.
Yeah. Like they're
You look at these two teams' schedules, right? Like they're actually fairly similar. So Missouri's got Texas A&M remaining, and they also have a road trip to Oklahoma. They host A&M. They go on the road to Oklahoma. Otherwise, they play Mississippi State, Arkansas. I think there's a legitimate path for Missouri to come out of here if they win today at 10-2. There's a path for that. Now, in saying that, let's take a look over there on the other side. Vandy is in the midst of a hell of a stretch right now, by the way. They lost to Alabama, but they beat LSU after the bye week. They have a big win over South Carolina early in the year. They look to get this win over Missouri. That'll be, by the way, if they do that, that'll be their third win over an AP top 15 opponent at the time of playing them. They'll then have Texas next week. I think that's a winnable game for them. Auburn, fuck you, Freeze might be fired by then. Kentucky, Mark Stoops might be fired by then. And then Tennessee can't play defense against anybody who's got a pulse on offense. Vandy could go 11-1.
Yeah. Also, not just that, Tennessee's defense is reliant upon forcing turnovers, and since Vanderbilt hasn't necessarily turned over the ball a ton, like that's going to be something to watch there.
I'm just saying. I mean, Vandy could go 11-1. 11-1 Vandy.
Like,
dude,
what
a
like
fucking,
who
knew?
Definitely buy if you would have told me that both these teams had a shot at 11-1 on the year, I would have said you're fucking stupid.
Well, I just simply thought, and it really boils down to this: Vandy's very good at what they do, which is why they are currently 6-1. They are so good at what they do. They do it better than anybody else, but they really do a great job at it. Missouri has just stuck to their guns. They run the ball. They brought in Ahmad Hardy for that specific reason. Who knew a product from ULM could put that kind of number up? But not only that, like they stick to what they do. Eli Drinkwitz is a hell of a coach. Love what he does. It's just two teams that we questioned Vandy's talent and the ability to just do what they're doing right now with where they are. That's credit to Clark Lee. That's credit to Jerry Kill, who came in as an analyst for this program and has really helped fix the culture of this thing and put it in the right direction. It's a credit to, if I'm not mistaken, Tim Beck? Jason Beck? Oh, man. He came over from New Mexico State, too, with Jerry Kill. He was the original hire. Like, they just call really good games. They just do a really good job of keeping themselves ahead of the chains, keeping themselves in advantageous positions. And they run this weird triple option offense almost that, it runs off of an RPO. Tim Buck. Oh, that's what I thought, but I was like, that's...
Yeah, Jason's the one at Utah.
Right.
I get those two mixed up.
Well, and they both came from a New Mexico school, so... But the point being, like, they do a great job at just being themselves, and they stick to it, and they're because they're so good at it. They are tough to stop, even though it seems simplistic. It's gonna be. It's just two teams that have stuck to their guns. They do a great job.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see where it ends up for them. I really am. Both of them.
I know. I fully expect this to be a fun game, though.
Yeah.
It's truly going to be a blast. Also, fun fact: this is the first time that Vanderbilt has had multiple game day appearances. So wanted to throw that fun fact out there.
Deserved.
Yeah.
This is the
Oh
first time
yeah,
they're
no.
hosting game day in a long time, too, by the way.
I can't remember the last
They
time they
played
hosted
Auburn
game day.
the last time. They had a trivia question about it. That's the only reason I know. Where
Okay.
they won 14-13, and oh man,
Yeah, and I haven't watched game day at all this weekend, so
hang on, I'm gonna find it for you.
Mhm. Let me pull up game day partially because games are going to kick off soon.
It was Mackenzie Adams back in 2000, back in the mid 2000s was the last time they hosted a college game day. If you're curious, um,
Yeah, yeah, no,
I couldn't
like
even tell you what year
yeah,
this would have been because
that I'd buy that for a buck
they
or
weren't even
two.
fucking good. They beat Auburn. Well, it wasn't '07, so let's go ahead and look at his '08 game log. It was October 14th of 2008. A
Okay.
14-13 win with 2 touchdowns, no picks on 153 passing yards. Um, you want to look at Auburn in 2008 real quick. Remember that's also the year where they won a game 3-2.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Offensive
wasn't that the
prowess,
infamous 3-2?
offensive prowess out there
Yeah,
in Auburn,
that
Alabama.
was Tommy Tupperville's last year, I think, at Bard.
Makes sense. He went 5-7. They got their asses whooped by Alabama. They lost to 13 Georgia 17-13, and they lose to number 1 Alabama 36-0. Um, they beat Tennessee that year. They beat Mississippi State 3-2. They beat Southern Miss and Louisiana Monroe. It's more than Alabama did the
You
year
know what
before.
I'm gonna say here?
What?
A blind squirrel does find a nut every once in a while, so
And they also got their asses kicked on a Thursday night by West Virginia in Morgantown, 34-17.
yeah.
Interesting 08 year, by the way, for the Auburn Tigers.
By the way, I'm sure you could ask RJ and he could give you a complete history rundown of that game.
Possibly. But what we're gonna do, I'm gonna ask you. It's noon. We're getting the hell out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, though. Good day today. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time, we'll be here for a recap of sorts. Can't wait to talk about everything that happened today. Really excited for it, and that's why we're getting out here now so we can go enjoy it. Cam, thank you for joining me today. We'll figure out what tomorrow's plans are because I don't know
Yeah.
where one Mr. Job's gonna be next when tomorrow rolls around. But just appreciate you stepping in. We'll have a little bit of a surprise tomorrow as well. Our good friend Clay is gonna stop by, talk about his time last night in Blacksburg.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
excited
he
for that.
chose a hell of a week to visit
Chose a
Blacksburg.
hell of a game to go to, that's for sure. So he's had an interesting weekend. We'll talk to him about everything going on. It's his bye week this week as a high school announcer. So it's also BJ's bye week this week. So excited to see where things go going forward. But again, Cam, thank you so much for being here. If you're new around here, leave a like,
Yeah, of course. Thanks
subscribe.
for having me.
Subscribe. We just hit 200. We'd like to continue moving forward. Maybe see a 3 in front of that at some point. It'd be nice. But just appreciate all the support nonetheless. So it's been a cool year so
Yeah,
far. And
3,200 would be great, I'm sure.
yeah. But with that said, we'll see you guys tomorrow.